Okay, today's video is showing you how to get a little extra mileage out of these fun foam stamps. I showed you in a previous video how to make your own fun foam stamp. So if you're wondering how I got this, watch that video. It's how to make your own fun foam stamps. This time what we're going to do is we're going to actually add temporary texture to the stamp. And so what we're doing is we're using the heat embossing tool, and we're going to heat our stamp. Mine is on its way out, so it's very noisy. Sorry about that. But we're going to heat the stamp up till it gets nice and soft. It might be a little bit hard to do it on a large section at a time, so I usually just do a small section at a time till it gets nice and hot. And you can feel it. I mean, this is super hot. I don't want to keep my hand there for very long, but if I get the fun foam hot, it gets soft, and I'm able to then press some texture into my foam. Okay, we'll try it in just a second. You got to keep it there longer than you might think, but I keep testing it just to see, is it getting softer? Ooh, it's toasty. Should be working. I'm also noticing my acrylic plate is kind of bowing a little bit with the heat. So then what I want to do is quickly, before it cools off, I want to press something hard, some texture into it. Now, this will pick up texture from any rubber stamp that you have, any red rubber stamp. It'll pick up texture from even the bottom of your shoe. So I don't know if you can see that or not. I can tell that it picked up some texture where it was really nice and soft. And so what I want to do is I want to show you what this looks like. And again, I'm taking just some gesso, and I'm going to roll it out. And I showed you briefly last time how to tint your gesso. We're using the Tim Holtz Distress Stain to add as a tint, and I'm just putting a little bit of a puddle of that on the side, and I'm going to roll it in and mix it in with my gesso. And that's just tinting my gesso so that it's not just plain white, but now it's this pretty robin's egg blue color. And then I'm going to roll this over the surface of my stamp. And you'll see, maybe not on the first stamping because that wasn't a super deep impression. I'm just going to stamp it right here. But you're going to see some texture. Okay, and you can definitely see it now that I've got some paint off of it. But what that's doing is it's giving me kind of a textury stamp. Okay, so what if I don't want it to stay that texture? What if I don't like that texture? What if I want to try another texture? Well, first of all, I want to clean my stamp off. And to do that, you can just run it under water, or because this is handy, I'm just going to take a baby wipe and clean my stamp off. Just cleaning the gesso off of it. Okay, and once it's clean, I can heat it up again, and that texture is going to come right out of it. It's going to get flat again. And when it's flat again, I can try a different texture in. It's a matter of trying different things to see what works for you. I really like pressing this into burlap and get a really nice, well, burlap texture. Again, it takes a little bit longer. It's harder to do large areas like this because I can't seem to get it all heated up at one time, but I can do it in sections. So let's try something different this time. Let's try taking a red rubber stamp and stamping into it and see if we can get that texture. And I'm giving it quite a bit of force there. That didn't do anything. Sometimes it's good when things don't work on video so you can see that it doesn't always work for me either. You just got to keep trying. Okay, so that feels pretty soft. And you can do this a number of times. It's not, you know, it won't last forever. You can't just keep doing it like 100 times over, but you could probably do it 4 or 5 times. Okay, that still doesn't look like it did anything, but let me try it anyway. Nope, not much of anything. Maybe it's just the stamp that I'm using. It's not all that. You can kind of see a little bit of the design in there. It's a lightly designed piece. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try it on the other side, and I'm going to show you what it looks like to have burlap stamped into it. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to try it over in this area that I haven't heated up yet. I do want to get this gesso off of it. You know, gesso will ruin your stamps. I don't generally clean things off. I just let them kind of build up these layers of acrylic paint, and I figure they're tools, and that's what they're for, so I don't wash a whole lot of stuff. But gesso is the exception. I try and get it off. Okay, so let me grab some burlap. And again, heat. See if I can multitask here. I'm going to heat it up till it gets nice and soft. And then I'm going to press it into the texture. Press down firmly and hold it for a minute or so. Well, not even a minute. Hold it for a few seconds. And that's nice. I can tell that's good texture. Okay, so let's try this one. And you know what? I think I want to darken this up a little bit. So I'm going to add a little more of the paint. I'm using Salty Ocean, by the way. I roll over that. Oh, that's nice. You get some nice texture in there. Let me do it on something that you can maybe see a little bit better. And there you go. See that nice texture in there? So you can, oh, got something on the other side. You can make all kinds of textured stamps just like this, and they're nice and abstract. And what I like about making my own stamps is that these are not stamps that you're going to see in a craft store. So when you're looking at your artwork or your art journal pages, or other people are looking at it, they're not going to be drawn to, oh, I have that stamp, or I saw that at Michael's. But these are actually your own custom stamps. So even if you know, you've seen this die before. I cut these out on a die cut machine. Just the way that I arrange them on here is not necessarily the way anybody else might arrange it, and it's totally unique. It's totally me, and especially when I add the texture into it, it's totally unique and totally me. So here's another thing you can do. You can take the dauber bottle and just tap it directly on the stamp. And I don't mind if it doesn't come out with a complete design. I kind of like that. And I especially like that right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. I really like it. So this is a way that you can customize your own stamps by adding texture to them. And this is great for building up layers in your artwork and your art journal pages and your backgrounds and acrylic paintings. So you see how that texture really does show up. It's pretty cool. I think I'll leave it that way. All right, thanks for watching. Hope you try this.